We'll restart the meeting and we will receive the report of the Corporate Director for Education and Family Support on the Additional Learning Needs Transformation Grant. Lindsay, please.
Thank you, Leader. The purpose of this report is to seek approval for Cabinet for Bridgend County Borough Council to enter into an agreement with Rhondda Cynon Taf County Borough Council, Cardiff Council, Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council and the Vale Glamorgan Council regarding the Additional Learning Needs Transformation Grant 2021-2022. The Additional Learning Needs Transformation Grant 21-22, you'll be relieved to your leader from your forward, I'll refer to it as the ALN grant, is a Welsh Government grant-funded scheme to support the delivery of the Additional Learning Needs Transformation Programme, including the management and the implementation of the Additional Learning Needs and Education Tribunal Wales Act 2018. Rhondda Cynon Taf County Borough Council, acting as the lead local authority, applied to Welsh Government for the ALN Act on behalf of the 4 other local authorities and third-party providers who are further education sector, local health boards and regions of the councils. The purpose of the ALN grant is to support local authorities to develop and promote innovative, multi-agency and cross-sector working practices to support learners with additional learning needs and the management of the implementations of the ALN Act. The application for the ALN grant was successful and an award of funding for up to £940,845 was made to RCT County Borough Council as lead local authority, which will be allocated to each council in accordance with the ALN implementation plan. As lead local authority, Rhondda Cynon Taf County Borough Council is required to accept the terms and conditions of the ALN Act as set out in the offer letter from Welsh Government. To deliver the project and to ensure compliance with the terms and conditions set out in the offer letter, Rhondda Cynon Taf County Borough Council requires BCBC, along with the 3 other local authorities listed in the report, to enter into an agreement in relation to the ALN grant. You will note, Leader, the total value of the grant is approximately £944,000. However, the amount available to local authorities, schools, further education providers and health is £818,845, as there is a retained element of £125,000 for the employment of a regional ALN transformation lead and associated costs and administrative and finance support. The allocation of grant spend for local authorities, therefore, is £248,925, of which BCBC expects to receive approximately £42,000. Therefore, Lead, I take to the recommendations of paragraph 9 of the report to secure Cabinet approval of BCBC to enter into agreement with the 4 other local authorities in respect of the ALN grant, and to allow me as your Statutory Director of Education to execute the agreement in conjunction with the Section 151 Officer and the Chief Officer for Legal Services. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you for that report, Lindsay. Councillor Blundell, please.
Yes, thank you, Leader, and thank you, Lindsay, again for the report. As Lindsay's outlined, this is a Welsh Government grant. The figures that Lindsay outlined equates to roughly about 17% of what we would get, which is roughly in line with our footprint on the consortium. So not much really more to add, really, other than this will help many students in our county borough who have additional learning needs. So on that, I will officially move the report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Blundell. Deputy Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. Thanks for the report, Lindsay. Just 2 questions around clarity, please. It is only for 1 year, this contract, and it is on the same footprint as Central South Consortium, isn't it? And I'm happy to second the report, Leader.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Lindsay, please.
Correct to both, Deputy Leader. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So it's been moved and seconded. Is everyone in agreement? Yep. Thank you, colleagues. And we'll now move on to the final report from the Corporate Director for Education and Family Support, and that is on a proposed service level agreement between His Majesty's Prison and Probation Service and the Council for Children and Young People at HM Park Prison Young Offenders Institution. Lindsay, please.
Thank you, Leader. The purpose of this report is to seek approval of a service level agreement to support young people held at His Majesty's Prison at Prison Park, the Young Offenders Institution, and fulfil the statutory duties of the Children Acts 1989 and 2004. The Youth Custody Service funds the dedicated social worker provision across the under-18 public and private young offenders institutions in England and Wales. Dedicated social workers have a role in working with those children identified as being most vulnerable and where there's greatest risk to their safety and well-being exists, including where they may be supported by or eligible for service from a local authority's children's social care service. In the County Borough of Bridgend, HMP Park, the Young Offenders Institution, is a setting that requires such a provision. Historically, Bridgend County Borough Council employed a senior social work practitioner as part of the Bridgend Youth Justice Service to fulfil this role. This arrangement ended in December 2020. In the interim, arrangements were established to fill the role, albeit not with the independence that HMP Park was seeking. With this in mind, the local authority and HMP Park officers have worked together to develop a service level agreement which is attached to Appendix 1 to reintroduce a senior practitioner at HMP Park Young Offenders Institution. The proposal is to provide a dedicated senior social work practitioner from Bridgend Youth Justice Service to work as part of the youth custody service within HMP Park, with children subject to remand custodial sentences within the Young Offenders Institution. This officer will work with the safeguarding team and resettlement practitioners to deliver on a number of positive outcomes for both children and young people, and the establishment within their duties are discharged. The financial implications are outlined in the attached service level agreement, which will be reviewed on an annual basis. As all costs will be recovered from the youth custody service, there will be no cost to the council from this arrangement. Therefore, Leader, I take you to the recommendations of paragraph 9, where Cabinet is asked to delegate authority to me, as your Corporate Director of Education and Family Support, to negotiate and enter into the service level agreement, to approve any extension or amendment to the service level agreement, and to enter into any further deeds and documents which are ancillary to the service level agreement. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you, Lindsay. Deputy Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. There's only one question of clarity for me. What caseload is this practitioner holding, please?
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Lindsay, please.
Thanks, Leader. Currently is around 60 young people in Park. Interestingly, the vast majority are not Bridgend children, but obviously we have responsibility as Park Prison sits within our county borough. As you can see from the appendix, it's a significant additional responsibility within this role. And again, I refer you to pages 8 to 12 within the appendix, and also with some of the job description aspects that are referenced in the report. So a very important role for us within the Bridgend Youth Justice Service.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Deputy Leader. Councillor Blundell is next, please.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you again, Lindsay, for the report. As Lindsay's outlined, even though justice and prisons aren't devolved to the Welsh Government, it is up to between us and BCBC and the Welsh Government to provide any additional public services that those inmates at Park Prison may require. So the aim of this really is that the prison is complying with its safeguarding duties and that all those young people can get the services that they require while staying in Park Prison, I should say. So on that, I will officially move the report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Blundell. So the report's been moved and seconded, and I'm sure we will can receive, and I'd like to receive a report back on the delivery of this service level agreement and the impact this is having and will have, as you've described, Corporate Director, whilst of course the vast majority of the young people and children at the institution are not from Bridgend. We do have a responsibility and a duty, as the facility is located within the county borough, and whilst that duty is shared across a range of different agencies, we obviously have a key role there, and will want to satisfy ourselves that we continue to do the best that we can for those young people. Councillor Blundell, is that a new... It
is a new hand. It's just to say we'll happily bring back update reports to Cabinet to show the progress of what's being made and what work's done up to that point. Happy to do that in future. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Blundell. Thank you very much. Lindsay. So the next report that we have is a report of the Chief Officer for Legal, Human Resources, Regulatory and Corporate Policy, and the Monitoring Officer. It's a snappy title. A report on the proposals for the introduction of a fostering friendly employer policy. Kelly, please.
Thank you, Leader. For the purposes of the recording, I am Kelly Watson, Chief Officer, Legal Regulatory Services, HR and Corporate Policy, and I'm bringing this report today under the remit of the HR function. The purpose of the report is to seek Cabinet's approval for the introduction of a new fostering friendly employer policy. The fostering network in Wales has been calling for employers to become more fostering friendly to address some of the national challenges around fostering, which have been highlighted by the Welsh Government through the Foster Wales work stream. The Foster Friendly policy is attached in your papers at Appendix 1. This supports the ambition and will help to bust the myth that individuals are not allowed to work if they become foster carers. The aim of this policy is to offer our council employees the opportunity to work flexibly where this is compatible with the demands of their job, to support our employees who are already registered foster carers, and to encourage our other employees to consider becoming foster carers as they go forward. The policy included provisions to include up to 5 days additional foster care leave, which will be in addition to other leave provisions already in the policy for other employees. The approval of this policy will support the Council's application to be recognised as a fostering friendly employer, and if approved today, we will be submitting that application. The new policy has been discussed with the recognised trade unions, and I can confirm to Cabinet that we have their full support to move this forward. I therefore take you to the recommendations of paragraph 9 and ask you to approve the fostering friendly employer policy. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. Monitoring Officer, Deputy Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. Thank you very much for this report, Kelly. I'm quite happy to support this. We don't always appreciate the role that our foster carers undertake. It's a vitally important role which can offer stability and nurturing to some of our most vulnerable children and young people. We also know that by giving them the stability, it gives them better life chances. I'm delighted as a Cabinet that the report is here before us today, as we need to ensure that our officers feel supported in one of the most challenging but rewarding roles that they can undertake. And I'm happy to move the report, Leader. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Deputy Leader, and I fully endorse and echo your comments. Councillor Good is next, please.
Thank you, Leader. I would also like to associate myself with the comments of the Deputy Leader. As someone who has personally benefited from foster care, I genuinely know the massive difference it makes to individuals' lives. I think it's really important that we as an employer are seen to be as supportive as possible about this vital role that is provided within our community. So I really welcome the support and I'd be happy to second it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's an opportunity to help bust a myth. Because one of the many myths around fostering is that you cannot work and foster. That is not the case. So that is why obviously we're proposing this policy change here today. There are many foster carers that are able to combine that role very effectively and successfully. And what this will actually mean in practice for employers is that there will be the opportunity for up to 5 days foster carer leave a year, and also the opportunity to work flexibly where that's obviously compatible with the demands of the role. So it would be based on that discussion between a worker and their line manager. But it's a very important signal that we are sending to our workforce that we are very supportive of anyone that wants to explore that opportunity to make such a difference to our children and young people. So the recommendation has been moved and seconded. Is everyone in agreement with those recommendations? And of course, Kelly, we look forward to a further update on us being recognised as a fostering friendly employer. This is one very big and important step in that process, but there's other action that we will need to take, and we will take that action to achieve that status. So the next report is once again a report of, I'll shorten it, the Monitoring Officer, and that is on the Cabinet Council and Overview and Scrutiny Forward Work Programmes. Kelly, please.
Thank you, Leader. This is a very short administrative report. The purpose is to seek Cabinet approval for items to be included on your Forward Work Programme for the period the 1st of March 2023 to the 30th of June 2023, and for you to note the Council and Overview and Scrutiny Committee's Forward Work Programmes for the same period. The draft programmes are appended to your report at Appendices 1 to 3, and following consideration by Cabinet, the programmes will, as always, be published on the Council's website. Therefore, take you to the recommendations of paragraph 9.
For that, Kelly, Deputy Leader, please.
Thank you very much, Leader. I'm happy to move the report.
Do I have a seconder, please?
Second that, Leader.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Councillor Spandrick. Is everyone in agreement, please? Yes, thank you, colleagues. We now move on to agenda item 16, which is to consider any urgent items that by reason of special circumstance I consider should be considered by Cabinet today. We've had no such urgent items, and therefore we will progress to agenda item 17, which is a proposal to exclude the public from this part of the meeting. But of course, before we do that, then we need to apply the public interest test, as we always do when there is such a proposal. And I will hand over to the Monitoring Officer, please. Kelly.
Thank you, Leader. Just for clarity, the item following the exclusion of the public is approval of exempt minutes. I therefore refer you to the decision you previously made in your meeting of the 7th of February 2023, when you determined that item of business should be dealt with in exempt session. If Cabinet are minded that the circumstances are the same, then they should apply the public interest test and determine that at this stage the public should be included from consideration of this item. Thank you.
Should the Monitoring Officers ever in agreement with that? Do I have a mover and a second? I should have said first. Thank you, Councillor Farr. Thank you, Deputy Leader. Everyone's in agreement. We will exclude the public. I will just wait a moment and I will check with our colleagues in the